What is good? What is up? It's Jordan Texans Thoughts, and we are back. Oh my goodness, it has been way too long, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for going MIA on y'all with really no explanation. I apologize for that. Full transparency, I had an opportunity come up where I could travel this summer, go through Europe, go through Asia, and backpack a little. And I took it and I ran with it. And I don't regret it one bit because it was a life-changing experience. Honestly, it was absolutely amazing. And I really loved it. And I would recommend it to anyone if you have the opportunity to do so. But that's what I was doing this summer. Amazing. And I appreciate you guys for tuning back in with me now. We will be picking up the content as training camp is beginning for our Houston Texans. What's up to Ziad in the chat for being first? I appreciate you, my guy. And the homie Beige is here as always. Let's fucking go. I gotta be quiet because I'm at home now. Ain't in Vancouver no more. I'm in Toronto just for the time being. What's up, Alex? What's up, Money Matt? Let's go. We back, baby. The film don't lie. It's been too long, man. What's up, Nosh? What's up, Murphy? I miss you too, Beige. I miss you too. But yeah, we're going to be getting back with our regularly scheduled programming here on the Texans Thoughts YouTube channel. And you can also find this here episode if you just want to listen to the audio version. If you hate how my face looks for some reason, you don't want to look at this? I don't blame you. But if you just want to listen to the audio version, you will also be able to find this on the Believe in Texans podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and soon Sirius XM. That's right. We're hitting radio, baby. That's right. I know, man. I know. I really should have just stayed. I really just should have not come back at all. I really should have just stayed in Asia. I went to Italy. I went to France. I went to Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam, baby. And oh my God, let me tell you about amazing times. Amazing times. But yeah, we're here to talk a little bit about training camp, some storylines, some players to look out for, position group battles, really what to look for and what to read about and look forward to with this training camp. And unfortunately, Quintin, my co-host, is not going to be able to join us today. He had some last minute things come up, but that's okay. We'll power through. He will be on our next shows, all the shows going forward, hopefully. And we got something special planned for y'all for next week's episode. We doubling up. We ain't just doing one. We doing two next week. All right, 2 shows next week because Quintin Demps is going down to Houston. He's going to the Texans training camp, and he will be showing us live footage from training camp. He's going to take his phone. He's going to be showing us what's going on. He's going to be pretending to the Texan security that he's just on FaceTime, so ain't nobody snitch. All right, I don't want any snitches. No snitches in the chat. I know I can trust y'all. But yeah, if you keep it quiet, he'll be able to bring us some quality content live from Texans training camp. Ain't nobody else doing that for y'all. So hopefully you guys will tune in next week. He will be there Tuesday and Wednesday. That is August 2nd and 3rd. We'll be going live. Follow me on Twitter. Follow Quintin on Twitter. We'll tweet you some updates of when we plan to go live. But yeah, Quintin's going to be there. If you are going to go to a training camp, go check him out. Go tell him Jordan sent you. Texans Thoughts said hi. But yeah, teasing us next week already. I'm too pumped, man. Ooh, let's go. I feel like I got to do a lot of housekeeping before I really get into everything we're going to talk about today. But first of all, Chris had a good point. Chris Martinez in the chat says Metchie and the prayer hands. Prayers up to John Metchie III. If you've not heard here, I can't even speak English properly. That's how long I haven't been doing this for. But if you have not heard, he was diagnosed with lymphoma, a type of cancer. Now, luckily, on the good note, on the good side of things, is that it is the most curable form of cancer. Let me look at it here. I did my research. I found the stats. 90% of patients reach remission, and the long-term survival rate of 70 to 90%. So, thank goodness. Prayers up to John Metchie and his close ones. Hopefully he can make a full form recovery. It is going to be a big loss to the Houston Texans, of course, but there's bigger things than football, man. This is someone's life at stake. And so what I would just say is that, this one came as a shock to me, and it kind of just shows us that, you never really know what's going on behind the scenes of people's lives. And athletes are humans too. And so we got to prioritize their health and think about what they're doing. is going on in their lives. And so, if you have a chance, if you are able to donate blood, this is always just a good reminder that, these health things can come out of nowhere and really just shock us all. So if you have a chance to donate some blood, go for it, man. Go for it. We will talk about kind of the receivers a little bit later. Alex, I got you. Don't worry. Big day on Tuesday. Big day on Wednesday, man. We coming back. We're doubling up. Let's go. Prayers up. Yes, sir. Ziad. Okay, for real prayers to Metchie. Yes, sir. Okay, let's get into my outline. Let's get into the topics of the day. We're piling up in the chat here now. I appreciate everyone coming through and sticking loyal with your boy, even though I left y'all for a damn 6 weeks. I appreciate you. Okay. Oh, I got to do an ad read actually within the first 5 minutes. I apologize. I gotta pill the bays. I gotta pay the bills. Oh my goodness. Cannot speak. Bear with me as I work back into podcasting, YouTubing form, whatever you want to call it. All right, our ad read of the day, and then we're out of here. Don't worry. Comes from Bet Online. Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. That's right, even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BLEAV50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Boom, that's out the way. You forgot to Ritzy. I did, man. It's been too long. But I got to say, being back has been such a breath of fresh air. And being in here with y'all and talking with y'all in the chat, man, it's like nothing has changed. And I really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate y'all and allowing me to have this opportunity. I apologize for the camera quality right now. Y'all see this black line that's just kind of going up and down, like it's like shutters going up and down the screen. I don't know what's going on. The lighting in here is not ideal. I am not in my Vancouver house anymore. I'm in Toronto, but I will probably be back in Vancouver soon and get this whole situation situated. I'll probably get a lamp or something for next time, and it'll be better. Okay, now that I've ranted about nothing for 8 minutes, our prodigal son has returned. Ultra Tough Scene says, appreciate you, man. Now that I have returned, we're going to talk about the Texans training camp beginning tomorrow. So rookies and quarterbacks, I believe, have reported this week, but veterans and really every other player is reporting tomorrow. And so it begins, it commences, man. Football is back. Let's go. Should be a great crowd tomorrow, man. Put in the chat if you're going to head to training camp. That should be a fun one, man. I'm jealous. Like, I wish I could fly down and see it, man. Who's going to training camp? Let us know. Will you attend any games this season? It is one of my goals this year to attend a game. It will probably have to be in like the later half of the season because I haven't planned anything yet. And yes, but I do. Do we play Buffalo this year? That would be an easy game for me to go to. Or actually, no, it wouldn't. Something on the West Coast. What are our West Coast games this year? We play Seattle. We play LA. We play Vegas. Vegas isn't really West Coast, but you know what I mean. Any of those games would be easy for me to attend. So I plan on it. It's one of my goals. Hopefully I can hit it. We'll see, man. Primetime Vari is going to be sleep while training camps happening. I hope to wake up some content. I got you. If you guys do want some content, I am starting a new podcast covering the entire NFL, not just the Texans. It's called the Backpedal Podcast. I'm doing with John Crumpler, who you guys may know is another Texans writer, content creator. He works for the Texans Wire. And so we're putting out a NFL-wide podcast. It's called the Backpedal Podcast. You can find it on my Twitter. I was just tweeting about it, or it's the Backpedal NFL on Twitter. First episode's out tomorrow, and then we're going to do a mega Texans-related episode next week with 5 of the biggest Texans creators, reporters, writers, whatever you want to call them next week. So be on the lookout for that. It'll be on my Twitter. But okay, enough's enough. 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I apologize. Now we're getting back on track. Texans training camp. Let's get into it. What are the major things to watch for in Texans camp? First one, man, it's got to start with Davis Mills. All right. It's got to start with the quarterback one himself, the Mills Mafia, Davis Money Mills, whatever you want to call him. The hype with him is unreal, man. Now, the question is it unwarranted or is it warranted? Well, if you look at his stats I tweeted about this the other day. Let me see if I can find it again. But basically, he had a very drastic improvement that's me stopping my camera. Look at me. I don't know what to do. He had a very drastic improvement going from the first. Is that working for you? Oh, there you go. Going from the first 8 games of the season to the last 5 games. So as you can see on the screen here, I tweeted the other day, Davis Mills, he played like 2 different quarterbacks last season. Like it looked like night and damn day. First 8 games, he threw for 175 yards per game, 61% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, had a passer rating of 65.6, and threw for a measly 5.29 yards per attempt. That's what Y/A means. Those numbers, not great. Not horrible, especially when you consider that he was a 3rd-round rookie who got thrown into the fire week 2 and wasn't supposed to start as early as he had to, but Tyrod Taylor got injured, so it is what it is. There were some lows. There were some valleys, man. It wasn't looking good. He was looking like a 3rd-round rookie with only 11 collegiate starts would look like. But then Tyrod Taylor came back. Davis Mills hit the bench. He learned from his mistakes. He progressed, watched the film, improved. And man, the last 5 games, like I said, looked night and day. It was evident on the field, on the film, and with the stats, man. 251 yards per game, 68% completion percentage, 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, 102.4 passer rating, and then 7.36 yards per attempt. So big jumps there. And some of those statistics that I named were actually borderline like top 10 in the NFL. If you extrapolated those stats for those last 5 games and imagine that he played like that for the entire season, he would have ranked 13th in yards per game. He would have ranked 7th in completion percentage, 7th in passer rating, and 14th in yards per attempt. So there's some top 10 rankings in there. There's some top 16 rankings in there. By those statistics, it kind of paints the picture that he was playing at least like a top half of the NFL quarterback, right? And there'll be a top 16 as there are 32 teams in the NFL, right? So very great improvement to see out of Davis Mills. And I have to say that the film, you guys know me. You guys know me and what I believe in. The stats don't tell the full story. They're useful, but we can't just rely on them, especially box score stats. But I went back, I watched the film, and man, night and day, man. Night and day. More accurate, more composed, just not making rookie mistakes, reading the defense quicker, connecting on the deep ball. That was really important for me because it was something that I think is necessary out of every franchise quarterback nowadays, is being able to create those explosive plays. And so I thought the film was great, man. I thought he showed improvements. And I think now it's kind of raising my expectations for what to look for out of Davis Mills next season. It really is. Because if you're telling me that the last 5 games of the season, he was putting up borderline top 10 quarterback numbers and at least top 16 quarterback numbers, then I need to expect that out of him for the next season. If I've seen you can do it now, I want to see it for an entire season, not just 5 games. Right? So now that is my expectations for Davis Mills. Is that lofty for a 2nd-year quarterback? A little bit, but he showed us flashes that he can do it. So I want to believe in it, man. I want to believe that he can be the guy for us. Because if he's our franchise quarterback and we got him, that's right, Zia, for a 3rd-round pick, it opens up a lot of possibilities, man. It opens up a lot of possibilities. And that's one thing I want to talk about is if Davis Mills does prove to that improvement over the last 5 games wasn't a fluke, wasn't lucky, wasn't just in garbage time, whatever, because there are some certain circumstances there that we could dive into. But if he can do it over a larger sample size, we don't got to go CJ Stroud at the top of the draft next year. We don't got to go Bryce Young. We're not penciled into that quarterback pick that every 4-letter network right now is saying that we should do. You go look at ESPN. You go look at PFF. You go look at whatever 4-letter network, 3-letter network, big name media company. They're always penciling in CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. And I get it, man. I get it. But if Davis Mills can be the guy that many of us believe that he can be, that I didn't believe he could be at first, but I mean, things change. I'm not going to stick hard-headed to a take that he is proving me wrong at so far. Then that's amazing, man. It's a luxury. It's a luxury to find your franchise quarterback as a 3rd-round pick. Whew. Primetime Barry says, it's me writing in the chat on my phone and watching on my TV. Definition of locked in. That is commitment right there, Primetime. I appreciate you, man. Doubling up on the Texans last stream. Thank you, my man. I miss you guys too, J-Rob. J-Rob, I miss you guys too. Trust me. This just reminded me of how much fun this really is. We got a Carolina Panthers fan in here. What's up? What's up, Panthers fans? Panthers fans are honestly good fans. Not every fan base is never mind. I shouldn't talk shit. But okay, what else I want to talk about Davis Mills? We talked about his statistical improvement, the improvements I saw in film. We talked about, if he can play like this for a full 5 season, amazing. We don't got to go CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. Do I think he will actually do this, though? Do I have the belief that he will do it? I think a lot of it depends on, we've talked just about Davis Mills, but at the end of the day, a lot of a quarterback's play is dependent on his surroundings. What do I mean by his surroundings? I mean his offensive line, his weapons, his running game, his play calling, his defense. Those 5 things right there, those are the surroundings I'm talking about when I talk about, the surroundings that can help or hurt the quarterback. It's a team sport at the end of the day, right? So the GOAT is back. I appreciate you, Evan. I appreciate you. I'm back. I'm back for good now, man. I'm back for good. Do I think the Texans give Mills that opportunity with their surroundings? Are we talented enough to prop up Davis Mills? Right? I don't know. I think it's a bit too early to say for sure. Before we get the pads come on, before preseason starts, that's when I would be able to give you guys the most educated take. But speaking as to what they had last season, like the bar was already on the floor. You know what I mean? He already had to deal with so much shit last year in terms of bad offensive line, horrible running game, the worst running game in the NFL, right? Weapons, he had Brandon Cooks, love Brandon Cooks, but other than that, there was no established, dependable receiving threat for him. Tight ends were inconsistent all year. Defense was meh, could have been better. So the surroundings for Davis Mills last year were suboptimal, and yet he still showed a lot of flashes in the last 5 games. So the bar's on the floor, and they've made some good additions this year. And that's what the next thing I want to talk about is the offensive line, because that is really going to be, for me, the biggest thing to watch in training camp. And there's only so much you can learn from training camp practices, especially for the offensive line, because pads aren't on. But what I want to see out of the offensive line is obviously improved play for Davis Mills, so he has better protection, so the run game has better blocking, and it can be a more well-balanced offensive attack. But what I really want to see out of training camp, particularly as that is the topic of today, I want to see a different approach to the offensive line than the Bill O'Brien and David Culley era. All right. It is Lovie Smith's team now. It is Pep Hamilton's offense now. It is no longer the Tim Kelly offense. Thank God. Good riddance. Goodbye. It is only up from here. Exactly. Exactly, Chris. Exactly. And so what I want to see is a different approach to the offensive line and how they are handling playing guys at certain positions. All right. I want our guys to be able to gain the necessary reps at their best positions. I don't want to see Titus Howard moving around from left guard to right tackle, to left tackle, to long snapper, to safety. No. Okay. Keep him at right tackle. We have seen that he is at least in an average to above average starting right tackle. At least, I would say. Very good pass protector. When he gets to play right tackle, man, you know your right side is secure. Okay? Is he a perfect player? No, but he's young And the fact that they have moved him around so much, that should speak to why he isn't, maybe a perfect player. Maybe he can improve as a run blocker, for example. If you give him the opportunity to stay at one position and master his craft, then he's going to be able to improve on his weaknesses. So I think that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to. Hopefully Pep Hamilton and our new offensive line coach, George Warhop, are aligned on that. Keep Titus Howard at right tackle. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, man. That contract almost up too, man. It's going to be, he knows he's going to secure the bag. And so what Houston can offer him is paying him, but then it goes both ways in the sense of, would Titus Howard want to come back here? If they're going to treat him like a guard, if they're going to treat him like someone just moves around all the time, he's not going to like that. And of course, in the media, you're going to hear him say all the right answers and say he'll play wherever he wants to play. He'll do whatever the team needs to do. He's a consummate professional like that. Of course. But deep down, man, offensive linemen will tell you just how hard it is to move from side to side, from position to position. It's not easy. All right? It sounds a lot easier than it is, but it's not. I can hear Bill O'Brien saying versatile. All right? They need to ban that damn word. Anyone who says the V word, give me 20 push-ups right now. That's what they got to implement. That's what I want to hear out of Lovie Smith. That's what they need, honestly. So I hope Titus Howard is remaining at right tackle. And you got Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. That is one of it almost feels like an addition because we didn't have him for most of last season. So when I was talking about going from last season's roster to this season's, getting a full season of Laramie Tunsil will help the offensive line. All right? It will very much make Davis Mills feel more secure that his blind side is being protected by one of the 3 or so best left tackles in the game. At least top 5 left tackle, in my opinion. At least. That's the lowest you can put him, in my opinion. So those are your tackles. Now, what does the rest of the starting lineup look like? Well, another addition I'm really excited about, Kenyon Green. First round pick, 15th overall out of Texas A&M, the hometown guy. Man, I'm excited for that one. Now, he gives us the idea of Kenyon Green is really, really exciting to me because he fits exactly what we need on that O-line. We need a mauler. We need a bruiser. We need a bully. Someone who don't give a fuck about who's in front of him. He's just going to maul him and run him over and be a force in the running game. And that's what Kenyon Green did at Texas A&M. That's who he was for them. He was the heart and soul of that running game. They would love to run behind him and have him pave lanes. And he's a big-ass dude, too. He's a big-ass dude. I would not want to be blocking him. I would not want to have to go up against Kenyon Green. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully they give him the start at left guard. That's where he played majority of his snaps at college at Texas A&M. But he will be another good test for George Warhop and the offense. He will be another good test for the V word, because he was very V word in college. He played left guard. He played right guard. He played left tackle. He played right tackle. In my opinion, his best ball came at left guard. From watching this film of over 2 years of him playing all those different positions, his best film came at left guard, in my opinion. It's nice to have the versatility. It is nice to have. I said it. I need to go give you all push-ups now. It's nice to have the V word, right? But I need to see him just settle in at one position and get comfortable there, all right? They tried to make Titus Howard versatile. I think it might have delayed some of his development. Don't make the same mistake with Kenyon Green. Learn from our mistakes. Please, 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 Texans, learn from our mistakes. They say Max Sharping is the best shape of his life. Hey, comeback season for Max Sharping, that would be huge. The thing with Max Sharping is the expectations are low now, so that at anything he gives us is just icing on top. Anything he gives us is icing on top. Give me 20. Y'all got, yeah. Oh, I thought y'all forgot about it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Do I got to? I can't even show y'all on the camera. Okay, I might. If more of y'all ask, then I will. I'm out of shape, though. I just ate dinner. I just scarfed down some dinner. Burnt my damn tongue for y'all. Because I was recording earlier. I was recording that podcast I was telling y'all earlier about Check Out the Back Pedal NFL. And so I was... No, it was one. Here y'all come. Okay. I don't even know if I could do 20, man. When's the last time I did 20 push-ups? Oh, man. Okay, fine. I'll give it to y'all because my boy Alex said so. Give me 20. Oh, man. Okay, let's see it. 1 second. Let's try and put this camera. Can y'all, if I go down on the ground here, can y'all even see? No, y'all can't. Okay, let me put the camera down on the ground for y'all. This is what we do for y'all. We go the extra mile here in Texans Thoughts. There we go. Camera's on the ground. You see my slippers. You see the curtain that I tried. You know what? It's a long story. Y'all don't need to know. All right, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We'll go one more for good luck. Woo! There we go, baby. Let's go. Woo! I still got it. Let's go. Woo! All right. Like Dan Campbell. How was the form? Woo! Let's go. $2. There's my reward. Thank you, Ziad. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness. 20 push-ups. We got it in. Sean Conroy wants to know, isn't it sad being a Texans fan? Sometimes I feel I'm a Lions fan, so we have our ways. Man, there's ups and there's downs. But at the end of the day, fandom, I'm going to stay loyal to my team. It's difficult at times, but I love this team, man. There's nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? Like, the ups and the downs, I'm going to always ride with them. So are there some sad moments? Yes. Oh my God, I'm out of breath. But hey, we in this together, man. We find a family, we find a community that everyone's supporting each other and everyone is in the same boat. And so, man, we get through it. Nice form. Okay, thank you. That was nice, but love you still with a quick workout. 69 for the culture, Chris wants. Oh man, not 69 push-ups, man. Y'all gonna have me in a body bag with that. Goddamn money mat. Let's go. Thank you, my man. $20. Woo! 20 for 20. That's the challenge. I'll definitely do 20 push-ups, $20. Let's go. Texans until we die. Let's go. Charles. Okay. Now that I have recovered from that, let me get some water in it. All right. I don't even know where we're at. We're at the O-line, right? We're talking O-line, talking about the starters. I talked about rookie Kenyon Green. Yes, what I did want to say about Kenyon Green, I'm very excited. For me, training camp is more about the process. It's more about the approach than necessarily like the results, especially for the O-line, because no pads. They're not hitting, right? So it's kind of hard to say for sure what that's going to look like. But as we go into preseason, as we go into the regular season, I'm very excited about Kenyon Green. You just heard me go on a rant about him for 5 minutes at least. But what I would say is that at the end of the day, he is a rookie. So I would just say that, expect some slow starts, maybe some ugly rookie mistakes, as it happens with all rookies, no matter where you're drafted. But yeah, in the long run, man, I think Kenyon Green's going to be a great pick for us. And I think he's going to give us that bruiser on the O-line that we need to help boost the O-line. I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped, Charles. Let's go. Forget that. You play the piano. Oh, no, you ain't getting that from me. That one's going to make me look stupid. I tried to learn when I was young, which Asian doesn't. But after that, man, I did not like it. So I was like, I'm quitting. I've done this for like at least 5 years. I'm quitting. So I haven't played at least since I was like, I want to say 12, 13. It's been at least a good 10 years. So I'm going to be looking like a fool. Throwing another 20 play. Man, money man. See, I know you got it like that too. I know you ain't bluffing. I know you were throwing a 200 if I know you got it like that, but I honestly couldn't play a song for you on the piano. I don't know a single song. You give me a sheet of paper, I wouldn't be able to do nothing with it. Nothing. Unfortunately. Casserole scale, that's a good question. If you guys don't know, Nick Casario, close to casserole. So that was kind of my nickname for him in the beginning. And I gave him a scale, from good casseroles to bad casseroles, depending on how his performance was. And I think he's been pretty damn solid. I wish I had the photos of me editing his face onto a casserole right now. I do not. But I would say, I liked his draft. I think he did some good things in the offseason, made some good free agent additions that can help with depth. And I would say he's like a solid, like tater tot and like meatball casserole. You guys ever had one of those nice tater tots with some like crusted cheese on top, and underneath you got some nice meatballs. Maybe it's got some like marinara sauce in there. I'm hungry now. I'm hungry. This is perfect, man. These are perfect questions. J Flo wants to know who's the weakest link on the O-line, and Charles Galindo wants to know, what about AJ Cann? Well, y'all answer both my questions in one right there. 2 birds, 1 stone. Who is the weakest link on the O-line, J Flo? AJ Cann. AJ Cann is, in my opinion. So AJ Cann was one of our first free agent signings from the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was what do we got here? I have the notes here. A 6-year starter for Jacksonville, right? 5 of those years, he was a positive player. He was a good player, at least a positive on your offensive line, especially as a run blocker. That's his bread and butter. So, if we were signing the 2017, 2018 version of AJ Cann, I'd be sitting here praising Nick Casario. I'd be raising him up on the casserole scale for sure. But we're getting the 2022 version of AJ Cann. We're getting the version who just has been declining since 2020. And then in 2021, he only played 5 games until he injured his MCL and was lost for the season. So not only did we sign an aging and declining player, but we signed a player who's coming off a major knee injury. And those can be pretty actually detrimental for offensive linemen. Justin Britt came off of a major knee injury. He hasn't been the same since. We'll get to him in a second. AJ Cann, coming off this injury, is having me lower the expectations for him. Okay? So I think he is going to be a bit of a weak link on the offensive line, especially in pass protection. I hope he can at least be an average to above average run blocker, because that's always been his bread and butter, and we could use that, especially at the guard position. But I'm going to be really, really worried about his pass protection. He's going to remind me of Jeff Allen, of all these other bad guards that we've had, Xavier Su'a-Filo. Man, it's not going to be pretty in terms of the pass pro. So hopefully Davis Mills can kind of know that, hey, if my weak link is the right guard, if I know that that's where I might have to anticipate some pressure, if he knows that ahead of time, hopefully y'all got me dying over here doing these 20 push-ups. Oh my gosh, I just had to mute the mic and cough up a storm. But if he can know that the pressure most likely is going to come from that right guard position, then he can build that into his plan of escaping that pressure and hopefully adapt to it, man. Hopefully, man. But yeah, I think that's I think that's going to be our weak link there. Jay, oh, thank you for the $5 with the super sticker. I appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you for the $5. I think that's going to be our weak link there. And then the last starter on the offensive line that I project is Justin Britt. And, he's going to be a bit of a meh. Just meh. That's my feelings on Britt. Great culture guy, great leader, says all the right things. And I think he's a good, glue guy kind of for the locker room in that sense. But the performance on the field last season was not great. Hopefully with more continuity and chemistry with this O-line, that he can improve. And hopefully now it'll be almost 3 years after his ACL injury. Maybe now he's finally fully 100% back to his Seattle form. I don't know. You can hope for it, but I wouldn't put my money on it. So I think that interior might be a little Zach Fulton. That's another one. That is the main guy I was thinking about, Alex Hirsch, when I was thinking about all the bad guards we've had. Yes. AJ Cann is going to be reminding me very much of Zach Fulton. Very much so. But Justin Britt, yeah, I think that interior is going to be, it could use some help, man. It can use some help. Kenyon Green I love, but the center and right guard is going to be giving me headaches all damn season. I already know the film breakdowns I'm going to be doing. Like, why did the Texans lose the game? Because center and the right guard shit the bed. I think that's going to be a lot of the time the major reason. But okay, let's get off of that now, and let's move on to the rest of the offense and talk about the weapons, man. The weapons, that LSU guy, rookie. Yes, that is one other offensive lineman I need to talk about that I'm excited about. Charles Galindo says, and SUVSSMG also says, the LSU guy that we drafted in the 6th round, Austin Deculus. He played right tackle for LSU. Some people project him to guard. He's a big dude, strong dude, very experienced in college. I think he set the record for most starts at LSU, something like that. Yeah, five-year starter in the SEC, exactly, SUV. So hopefully he can come in and provide some solid depth. I wouldn't expect him to start, but maybe in a few years he can become a starter. I think at the very least you're getting maybe a decent hopefully you're getting a swing tackle who has the potential to play inside. You never know, man. You never know. But other than that, on the O-line, man, there's not much else. You hope Max Sharping can have a comeback year. Hopefully he's in a better mindset, have some more confidence back in him, and he'll be good to go. Hopefully. But yes, let's now move on to the next part of the show, and that is talking about the Texans' weapons. And we all know about Brandon Cooks. Hopefully he can continue his it's great to have, that veteran. That's like his safety valve. That's someone he knows he can rely on. So it's great to have that with Brandon Cooks. He's going to be the number one option. I don't expect any of that to change. I'm excited to see what Pep Hamilton can do with him. Hopefully he can scheme him up a lot of touches because he is undoubtedly, in my opinion, the best. See, it's close between him and Tunsil in terms of best player in the offense. But he's the best weapon, obviously. But he's probably our best player on offense, Brandon Cooks is. The most impactful player. Let's put it that way. The most impactful player on offense, Brandon Cooks. But what I really wanted to talk about is the guys behind Brandon Cooks, because we all know about Brandon Cooks. We know what he's going to bring. The guys behind Brandon Cooks being Nico Collins. I was going to say John Metchie. I had John Metchie on this, but I had to update it. Nico Collins, and I think the other most important young guy really here is Brevin Jordan to watch. Right, Nico Collins and Brevin Jordan are going to be two of the weapons that I'm really looking out for in training camp. Just seeing how they're progressing, seeing if they're making basic improvements. I want to see both of them improve on their routes. I want to see both of them play faster. And that's really it. It's really about the route running for both of those guys. Nico Collins particularly has a big opportunity ahead of him to really emerge as the Texans wide receiver number 2 behind Brandon Cooks. And I think he can do it, man. I think he can do it. The potential on this kid is off the charts. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's 6'3", ran a low mid 4.4s in terms of the 40-yard dash. He's got the height. He's got the speed. He's got the ball skills, man. The amount of sideline, toe drag, swag, catches where I see him moss defenders in college at Michigan. Whoo! His college tape was amazing, man. It was amazing. And so I think he just needs to get, he needed to get his feet wet in the NFL, gain some rhythm, gain some confidence. Now year 2, he can take that meteoric jump that a lot of receivers take going from year 1 to year 2. So I really hope Nico Collins can do that for us. Big Nico, that's right, Money Matt, that's right. He's going to be probably one of the 5 most important guys in this training camp to watch, in my opinion. His progression can mean a lot for the team. I think he can be a wide receiver 2 of the future, maybe even potentially wide receiver 1 if he does fully hit his ceiling. It's just all about potential right now with Nico Collins. There's really 2 Ps when you kind of think about talent in this scope that I'm about to explain. There's potential and there's production. And we can look at the Texans' 2 top receivers in this lens. Production, that's Brandon Cooks all day, man. You know what you're getting out of him. He's dependable. You know what you're going to get. You know the production. He's proven, right? Now, Nico Collins has got the potential, man. He's got the raw tools, the athleticism, the size, the speed that I'm mentioning. That, hey, if he puts it all together and he can reach that production, whoo, we're cooking, man. We're cooking. So I'm feeling excited about it. And now the next weapon I want to talk about, Nosh, perfect segue for me. He says, how you feeling about Brevin Jordan? I'm excited about Brevin Jordan, man. I was excited about the draft pick. I thought we got a pretty good value when we took him in the, 5th round in 2021. I thought it was good value, and I think he's a good fit for how Pep Hamilton likes to use his tight ends in the passing game. Pep Hamilton expects a lot of his tight ends. He likes dual threat guys. He likes guys who can block and pass catch. Brevin has some ways to go as a blocker. I'll be frank about it. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But as a receiver, that dude fast. That dude athletic. That dude shifty, right? Money Matt says, give it a few years, Brevin could be our Darren Waller. Ooh. I do think in some of the ways that Darren Waller is used on the field, Brevin Jordan would also benefit from that. And what I mean by that is Darren Waller isn't always used as an inline tight end, right? You don't always, and when I say inline tight end means that you are lined up right beside the offensive line, right beside the right tackle or right beside the left tackle. He's in line with the O-line. Darren Waller gets used in the slot a lot. He gets used out wide like a wide receiver. And I think that's what Pep Hamilton should and will do with Brevin Jordan. He's almost going to use him like a bigger slot wide receiver. That's what I hope. That's what I would do. That's what my game plan would be, and I hope Pep Hamilton sees it the same way. Why is that? Because, like I said, Brevin Jordan might not be the best blocker, so you might not want him in line all the time. Exactly, Alex, Brev in the slot. So you might not want him in line all the time because he's not as good of a blocker. He's not as big as your Darren Fells's, your CJ Fedorowicz's, your Pharaoh Browns. Now, those are all guys of a varying degree of talent and blocking prowess, but you get my point. He's not as big as those guys. He's more of a receiving guy like an Evan Ingram, right? That type of tight end, where he's almost like a bigger wide receiver. So you put him in the slot, and now all of a sudden you've got a bigger slot who's still got the speed of, a very athletic tight end or a bigger wide receiver. You know what I mean? And so he's going to have that natural height advantage over the smaller nickel cornerbacks that typically play in the NFL that are around, 5'9" to 5'10", 5'11". And Brevin's, I believe, 6'2". Let me double check the height on that. Brevin Jordan height. I believe he's 6'2". 6'3", even. So he's even taller than I thought. So he's got that size advantage. And if you get him in the slot, you're going to create more opportunities for him to get the ball in space. And I think that's also going to be a big aspect of Pep Hamilton's offense is the screen game. Now, I know we saw a horrible screen game out of Tim Kelly, but that was mainly because of his predictability, how often he would call screens, Number 2, the play call and asking too much out of his blockers. And number 3, just poor execution. And it looked like they were just coached poorly in terms of their technique to get onto the blocks. So I'm hoping that Pep Hamilton can do a better job of all those 3 points. And I know that he will want to get the ball in his hands of his playmakers quickly and get it out quickly so the offensive line doesn't block too well. So the screen can be an extension of our run game. We've seen the Patriots do it a lot. We've seen the Chiefs do it a lot. And I think Brevin Jordan is going to be one of those main guys that they're going to hopefully feed the ball to because he's shifty, man. His yak skills, his yards after the catch skills are his main trait. And it was arguably the best out of any tight end in his draft class, other than, I believe, was Kyle Pitts in his year? Or am I tripping? No, Kyle Pitts was after him. I think I'm tripping. Flea flicker was on point, though. Yeah, if there's one thing Tim Kelly had in his bag, it was the flea flicker, apparently. But yeah, that's Brevin Jordan's strengths. And so whenever you know a strength of a player. You want to play into it. You want to maximize it as much as possible. So hopefully that's what they can do for Brevin. Some more reps in the slot for him. That will also help mitigate some of the loss of John Metchie. And we also know, I saw someone mention it earlier. Do I think we're going to be running a lot of 2 tight end sets? Sorry, so Primetime Virus says, do you really expect us to only run 2 wide receiver sets? So it's not going to be that we're only going to run 2 wide receiver sets, but I do think that is going to be a lot of our base personnel, because Pep Hamilton and George Warhop, they want to be a run-heavy team. Lovie Smith wants to be a run-heavy team too, because he's a defensive guy, and defensive guys love to have run-heavy teams that can control the clock and keep the defense off the field for longer. And so we know that that is going to be the identity of this Texans team. It's what the identity was last season. We just weren't good at it. Now, this year, hopefully we can be better at it. So only up from here, we were worse in the league. But to do that, one thing you can do personnel-wise is getting bigger personnel on the field, larger personnel on the field, which means taking away a slot wide receiver who's typically 5'9" to 6 foot at the most, and getting a tight end who's 6'3", 6'4", 6'6", whatever it may be on the field, and then having that size advantage as an additional blocker, right? That's kind of the thought process behind it. And you look back at Pep Hamilton's time with the Colts, he ran a lot of 2 tight end sets with Dwayne Allen, Kobe Fleener, and those guys. They always prioritize the tight end position. Jack Doyle is another one. So I think Brevin Jordan will get a lot of snaps in that role, and I do think we'll be running a good amount of 2 tight end sets. I hate run every team's like the Titans. See, the Titans take it too far, man, in my opinion. Jerry's here. What's up, Jerry? It's all good. You're late. I appreciate you coming in, man. I appreciate you. Yes, that's why I'm very excited about Dameon Pierce. He fits the identity of this Texans team perfectly. We want to be a power running team, a ground and pound team, control the clock, keep the defense off the field. And Dameon Pierce is going to fit perfectly into that, man. He's also one of the most guys I'm excited for to see and hear about in training camp next week. Reese says, I assume that's how you pronounce it. Reese, right? That's how I've heard RHYS be pronounced before. So Reese Cruz says, Brevin Jordan is a Walmart Kyle Pitts. Ooh, still good though. I hear you. Y'all crack me up in the chat, man. I can't read some of y'all's comments because I gotta put this out into a podcast form, man. But yeah, so in terms of the weapons after Brandon Cooks, talk about Nico Collins, we talked about Brevin Jordan. Those are the guys I'm most excited for. After that, man, it's really, should the Texans, a big talking point is, should the Texans, add another wide receiver to the room to help replace Metchie? Should they go trade for someone? Should they sign a veteran free agent? Or should they just kind of roll with the guys on the roster, right? Those are the 3 options that we can go with. I'm not a fan of trading for a player because, I think we are a team that really needs to build through the draft. We're not going to be signing any big name free agents anytime soon, realistically. Hopefully we can, but realistically, that's not really how Nick Cassero even likes to operate. So we're building through the draft. So we need every draft capital, every draft pick we can get. And I wouldn't want to trade a draft pick away for, essentially a 1-year rental, right? John Metchie is expected to return next season and be completely fine. And so if we're only going to be trading for a player for 1 year until Metchie comes back, I just don't really want to give up that capital. You know what I mean? So I would rather them not go the trade route. I would rather them not go the veteran free agent route because the market's kind of shit right now. Julio Jones just got signed to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Goddamn Tom Brady. But other than that, man, it's Cole Beasley, it's Adam Humphries, it's T.Y. Hilton, it's Emmanuel Sanders. There are some talented guys there, don't get me wrong, but they're all at the late stage of their careers, and I just don't find it realistic that they're going to sign with us. Why would they want to sign with a rebuilding team? Wouldn't they want to go sign with a contender that gives them a chance to win and puts them in a better position to get their next contract? You know what I mean? So I think the best plan of action and what will end up happening is that they're just going to run with the guys on the roster. That's why they build out the depth in the first place, for things like this, to prepare for things like this. And so who might that be? Maybe it's Chris Conley, who we know kind of what we're going to get with him. He's kind of more of your, wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 type of guy, but he can step into the wide receiver 3 and be okay. The guys that I'm most excited for about are Davion Davis, who would be kind of the youth play, right? Chris Conley would be the veteran play. Davion Davis would be the youth play. At 25 years old, he's, I believe, going into his third season now. And so he's got a lot of room to grow. And hopefully he can be a diamond in the rough for us. If it's not Davion Davis, the name who might be the best mixture of, production, but then also dependability is Chris Moore, who's 29 years old. And he showed really good chemistry with Davis Mills. He was dependable. He was targeted 26 times last season, and he caught 25 of those damn passes. There ain't many wide receivers who go 25 or 26, man. That's kind of unprecedented. Now, of course, it's a small sample size, but that's enough for me to say, hey, I'm kind of intrigued with that. Let's see what you can do with a full season, And so that wide receiver 3 position, I'm really not too worried about it. I know a lot of people want to see a move, but I think it's also a position that, number one, we have options on the roster. Number 2, it's not a high position of need. It's not like we just lost our wide receiver 1. It's not like we just lost our wide receiver 2. We lost our wide receiver 3. We lost our slot wide receiver who isn't going to be playing as many starter snaps as most slot wide receivers would. Like if we were the Rams, if we were the Cardinals, if we were the Bucks, a lot of teams that play 3 and 4 wide receiver sets even, then I'd be more worried because then it's like, okay, you're actually losing like a full-time starter. But for the Texans team that I just mentioned is going to be running a lot more 2 tight end sets, then I'm not as worried because we're going to be running with Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins most of the time anyways. I want Nico Collins to get those reps. I want to see him develop and improve and become the guy I know he can be. So I'm fine, man. I'm fine chilling and not really adding anymore. C. Royce Collins. So Primetime Barry says, how about a Fuller reunion? And C. Royce Collins says, hell no. Hell no. He said Fuller can stay away. He's on a slot anyway. I love Fuller, man. I thought he was going to be amazing for us, but he can't stay healthy, dude. He can't stay healthy. I just don't think that's worth it. It's not it's only a 1-year deal, but I would assume it will be a 1-year deal, but I just don't even think it's worth adding to the roster, man. You can't depend on him for shit anymore. It sucks. He's so talented, man. He's so talented. But it is what it is. All right, we talked about the offense. Now let's get over to the defense, and then we'll end this episode here. I don't want to hold y'all for too long. Not Glass Fuller. Good one, Flo. That's a good one, Flo. I gotta have you write my jokes, apparently. That would be nice. Have someone write jokes for you. Could you imagine? I need a ghostwriter. Flo, you want to be my ghostwriter? Okay, let's move over to the defensive side of the ball now. We talked about who to look for on the offense, what position battles and whatnot. For the defense, man, it really, for me, there's kind of 2 main things I want to talk about. First are obviously the rookies. The rookies are really, really exciting for me, man. We haven't had a top 3 pick in forever. And so Derek Stingley, man, the number 3 overall pick out of LSU, can he be our cornerback 1 as a rookie? It seems like he should because we don't really have a cornerback 1 on the roster, but it's harder than it sounds because cornerback is always between cornerback and quarterback. Cornerback is typically the hardest position to transition to in the NFL. Historically, even all the great cornerbacks that you now know today, historically, they all struggled. They all played bad. Most of them, I shouldn't say all, majority of them all played bad as a rookie, and it was ugly. So what I will say with Derek Stingley is if there are some rough moments, if there are some lost reps, there are some times he gets mossed, he falls down, he gets his ankles broken, he gives up a catch or whatever. If it does happen, it's okay. Patience, staying calm. It happens to every cornerback. Every cornerback gets beat eventually. And Stingley is the type of guy that he's always being a potential play, right? It's always been about potential for him. We've seen him dominate as an 18-year-old true freshman in the SEC against the best competition that college offers. We know he can play, right? He's always punched above his weight class. And so now it just might take a little bit of time transitioning to the NFL. And we got to give him that time and patience. He might not be a star from day one, but if he stays healthy, I guarantee you he will be our cornerback 1 for the foreseeable future. I believe in that. And I'm really excited to have a cornerback finally that is like a natural when the ball is in the air. He is like a wide receiver. His ball skills are his best trait. Derek Stingley's are. He plays the ball like a wide receiver, and he's going to be breaking up passes, hauling in interceptions once he gets into a groove. So I'm excited for that because Lovie Smith and his turnovers, he's going to be prioritizing that, and it'll be big. It'll be big for us, man. Hopefully he can get into that rhythm and bring us in some interceptions. We got 70 in the stream. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in already. If you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe. I believe we're almost at 6.2K subscribers. Get me over that. I think we're at like 6.19. Can we hit 6.2 by the end of the stream? I would very much appreciate it, y'all. And then, check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those typical podcast platforms if you didn't catch the entire episode. All righty. After Derek Stingley, the other rookies, I will get to the D-line flow. I got you. Don't worry. That is my last point of the day. But after Derek Stingley, I want to talk about Jalen Petrie. And the main thing with him is, man, I'm so confident in Jalen Petrie being a baller. I know it'll happen. I don't know if it'll be for the Texans. I don't know if it'll be for another team, but it will happen. He will be a baller because he's wired right. When I interviewed him, this guy was locked in. Out of all the guys I interviewed at the Senior Bowl, he was absolutely the most locked in, the most like competitive. Like he was like attacking each interview like he was playing on the field, man. Like this guy is wired different. So I know he's got that drive in him. I know he's got that dog in him. And it's just a matter of time for Jalen Petrie. So that's why I'm excited about him. But what I'm curious about for training camp is to see which position he's playing, right? Because with Petrie, the V word is a big, big thing with Petrie's game. At Baylor, they played him all over the field. They played him in the box as a linebacker. They played him in the box as a strong safety. They played him as a nickel cornerback. They played him deep as a strong safety. They moved him all over, man. He was a Swiss Army knife for them, jack of all trades, all of that good stuff. And he impacts the passing game in zone coverages as a blitzer. He impacts the running game. He's a tackling machine. Like, he really does deserve the comparisons he gets in terms of Tyrann Mathieu, Budda Baker, those type of hybrid nickel corner safety linebacker guys, right? And I think he can be that for us. But it'll be interesting to see where they play him. Are they going to play into the V word? Or are they going to just stick him at one position and have him learn that and have him be comfortable? I'm not here to say if one way, is really better than the other. For Petrie in particular, I staked out my point for Titus Howard and Kenyon Green. But Petrie is actually one of those players that is kind of better when you get to move him around a lot. And I like him as a linebacker. I like him as a nickel corner. I probably wouldn't play him too much as a free safety if we're getting into the specifics of things. But I'm curious to see what they do, man. I'm curious to see where a majority of his snaps come from. I really am. And I hope it's mainly at linebacker and nickel corner. But there's more of a need at safety. So I'm kind of hypothesizing and guessing that it'll mainly be strong safety. That would be my guess. As for the other rookies, I think Petrie could be a Justin Reed. Charles says he can be better than Reed. I think he can be too. I think he's more Reed was athletic, but I think Petrie is more athletic. He's more explosive, and he was just around the ball more. Like, his production was absolutely insane at Baylor. Let me pull it up because it's actually just insane what numbers he was able to put up as a defensive back. College. Share my screen. Boom. Can y'all see? Yeah, y'all can see. Perfect. All right, 5 years at Baylor. Look at these last 2 years, man. Look at these last 2 years. Combining for 135 tackles in his last 2 seasons. 29.5 tackles for loss. 6 sacks, can't do math. 4 interceptions. 2 touchdowns. 9 pass breakups, 3 fumble recoveries, and 4 forced fumbles. Those are his stats in his last 2 years when he was a full-time starter for the Baylor Bears defense, man. He fills up the stat sheet. Whatever you want to talk about. Most DBs, they'll have some ball production, right? They'll get some picks, they'll get some PBUs for you, but they're not all going to rack up these TFLs and these sacks. It's insane. So that's why I really say he is a jack of all trades. That's why the versatility with him makes sense. He can truly do it at all these different spots. Truly. So very excited about Petrie. Oh my God. Very excited about Petrie. I would honestly guess that Jonathan Owens does start at free safety. You're not wrong, Jonathan. You're not wrong. Last defensive rookie I want to talk about was Christian Harris. That was one of the picks I was a little bit more hesitant on, to be completely honest, but that's okay. I'm not going to love every pick. That's just kind of the nature of how things go. But I do see the upside with Harris. Now, the thing is, a lot of people are talking about him as a potential starter. I don't know if I would go that far, just because, Kirksey and KGH are kind of, they're going to be the guys there. They love Kirksey for his leadership. And then KGH was our best linebacker and one of our best defenders, is between him and Grenard for the best defender last season. So I'd expect them to start and play the 2 main linebacker positions. Now that 3rd position is up for grabs between Garrett Wallow, between Christian Harris, between maybe a guy like Jalen Reeves-Maybin. And what Christian Harris brings you, and why I don't think he might be a starter right away, number 1, because he's a rookie. Number 2 is because his skill set is more tailored to sub-package linebackers. What does a sub-package linebacker do, and what does it mean? It means that you're being brought in for 3rd downs, for 3rd and longs, when the team wants to go into nickel formation. And in those situations, typically the offense is in a clear passing situation, right? And so what Christian Harris does really well in those situations is he's a really good blitzer. Really, really good blitzer. That is his singular best skill set, in my opinion, is that when you ask him to just simplify his job, get after the football, just run, just haul your ass there, he can go. He can go. And I'm going to pull up his 40-yard dash time, because I forget it off the top of my head. But I remember it was fast. It was among the top of the linebackers that year. Christian Harris' 40-yard dash is 4.44. So you're talking about a linebacker with 4.44 speed, blitzing, getting after the quarterback, man. That's a big-time asset for you. So while I don't think he might start right away or even as a rookie at all, I think he's going to have a lot of value on 3rd down. Those 3rd and long situations where, a lot of time Lovie Smith likes to rely on just a 4-man rush. Now you got Christian Harris, man. That is another added weapon to your toolkit. You got to use it. You got to blitz more. So that's where Christian Harris and Jalen Petrie go hand in hand together, is that they're really good blitzers, both of them. So 3rd down, you bring those guys in and you blitz their asses. You put pressure on the quarterback, man. Stop playing conservative and go after the quarterback. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. How do I feel about the playoffs for the Texans, Ziad? I'll put their chances at 1.79864%. That's 1.96784%. Sorry. I'd probably put their wins at anywhere from 4 to 6. If we're lucky, it's 7. But that's the absolute ceiling, in my opinion. I think 4 to 6 wins is realistic. All right. Now the last topic before I get out of here that I want to talk about for the training camp is, how does the defensive line look? How does the D-line look? And I think we're good with the DTs. We kind of know what that's going to look like in terms of the starters. It's going to be Roy Lopez and it's going to be Malik Collins. I'm glad that duo is back. I like those guys, and I'm excited to see a jump from Roy Lopez and have him make more tackles, make more plays, and potentially improve as a pass rusher. So I think what he was very good for you as a run stopper and just doing his job, holding his gap. But if he can make that next step, man, be more consistent, make more plays in the backfield, that's huge. Absolutely huge. Collins, we know what we're getting out of him. Love him. It's the defensive end rotation that I'm really interested in seeing. We lost the GOAT. We lost Jacob Martin. But we've brought in a lot of more established pass rushers who have historically good sack numbers. In Jerry Hughes, in Mario Addison, and in Rasheem Green. I'm a big believer in Jerry Hughes. I think he'd be a really good third down guy to bring in and just fly him off the edge. Like, that dude might be old, but he still got some juice to him. So I like Jerry Hughes' addition. Mario Addison, everyone's high on Mario Addison. I need to watch some more of him, to be honest. He has good numbers. He's a consistent 5 to 7 sack a year guy. And I think he could be the starter potentially. But the guy I'm really, really high on, honestly, is Rasheem Green. Rasheem Green, he played for the Seahawks, and he has flashed a lot of good things for them. He's one of those guys that sorry, let me pull up his stats so I can show y'all, because I'm a visual learner, and y'all are probably visual learners too. Sharing my screen. Boom, boom, boom. Rasheem Green. The stats don't look amazing. That's what I was going to say. Is the stats may not look amazing, but if you look at the 2 years that he was starters, he had 4 sacks in just his second year, and he had 6.5 in this past year when he was a starter. And for a guy who's just 24 years old, going on to 25 now, like, those are pretty decent sack numbers to start off with. You know what I mean? And he was doing this on very bad Seattle defenses, right? So he's going to be on a similar situation with the Texans where, you know, there's not a lot of talent there to help him out, but that's okay because he's done this before, right? And so I'm excited to see him take that next step in his progression. Hopefully, playing with Lovie Smith's system can unlock that for him. Hopefully allow him to play faster, get off the ball faster, and get after the quarterback. Because I'm a big believer in Rasheem Green. He's a big guy at 6'4", 280 pounds. So he's got that typical defensive end size. And he's a guy that you can play him on the outside and you can play him on the inside too. So I think having that versatility will be nice. So imagine your starters are John Grenard, Malik Collins, Roy Lopez, and Rasheem Green. Then on third down, you go John Grenard, Malik Collins, you take out Roy Lopez, and you put in Rasheem Green on the inside, and you bring in either Jerry Hughes or Mario Addison on the outside. You can rotate those guys in along with Ogbonnia Okoronkwo from the Rams. That's a good rotation. That's an improved rotation from last year. So I think there is optimism for me to believe that the Texans can have a better pass rush than they did last year and in years previous. And I haven't even talked about freaking Jonathan Grenard, man, going into his third year now. Hopefully there's another jump there. We saw a good jump from his rookie to his sophomore season. He led the team in sacks with 8. He only played 12 damn games, man. Only played 12 damn games, had 8 sacks. So he was very, very efficient. And I'm just hoping that, you know, he can stay healthy for a full season. And I think he can hit that double-digit number. I think he can, man. That was another guy that I interviewed. He was one of my very first interviews, actually. You can find it on the YouTube channel. I talked to Jonathan Grenard, and what really stood out to me about him is how smart he is. He is so smart. Like, the way he was talking, like, he's a damn defensive coordinator. He could be a damn head coach. Like, he knew every little detail of the game, every little detail of the play call. Like, his memory recall was amazing. And he was very detailed. You could tell he's a student of the game and that, you know, he's going to put in the work to improve his weaknesses and just get better every year. So I'm a big believer in him. I love that draft pick. And I think he'll be able to take a step for us, man. But yeah, that's it from me. That's my training camp preview. If you weren't here earlier, I mentioned that Quintin Demps, my co-host, he will be down at the Texans training camp next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, August 2nd and August 3rd. So if you guys want to go say hi to him, say hi, tell him Jordan or Texans Thoughts sent you to say hi. He's signing autographs, so he'll be there in the mornings, I believe. And not only that, but he's also going to be – we're going to be live streaming live from Texans camp. But keep it a secret. Keep it a secret because we can't have the Texans find it out. Okay, he's going a little undercover because we don't really know if we can really record and live stream those practices. So we'll see. But just be on the lookout for Tuesday and Wednesday. Follow me on Twitter at Texans_thoughts for more updates of when we'll go live. But we're gonna do a live podcast show, whatever you want to call these, from training camp next week. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you so much for putting up with me going MIA for the summer. But we are back, man. We are here. The season is almost here. I'm so excited to watch football again, even if it's just preseason in a few weeks, dude. It's going to feel so good. I'm really happy to be back. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really could not do it without y'all. You guys are always here to have my back, even when I go MIA, and I appreciate it. So thank you guys once again. We'll see y'all next week. Take care. And remember, the film don't lie.